Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live. NFL season is finally here. Week 1. You got Samson with the 49ers, K. Riles with the Eagles, sports guy Bobby with the Panthers, Jay I know with the Jets, Rope with the Cowboys. We're going to start off with the 49ers. Finally, Nick Bosa has signed, making him the highest defensive player to ever play the game. I think he's well worth it. We'll see what happens. We also cleared up about $41 million in cap space by restructuring some contracts, probably on the back end, heavily loaded, but we'll see what goes on because we expect the caps to increase year by year. So I think we'll be in good shape. Overall, I'm pretty happy with my 49ers. Not many injuries. We played it safe and didn't let too many starters play at all. Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey. We got a little work from Debo. Debo heavily motivated this year in his best shape, as he say. Came out with no injuries. So I'm pretty happy with the situation we're in. We did get banged up a little bit. Rayway broke a wrist, but he's actually cleared to play. Our kicker had some quad issues, but he's cleared as well. So I think the 49ers going to be all right. What's going on with your team, K. Riles?
Man, like most teams, once they lose the Super Bowl the next season, they have a little dip. I think that the Eagles will be able to rebound from the Super Bowl loss, come out strong. Very interested to see how they play against Bill Belichick tomorrow. He's had all off season the game plan for Jalen. I know that a lot of expectations off of Jalen to take an additional step this year. So really looking forward to see how we start off tomorrow and proceed throughout the season. We still got to figure out running back position. We really don't have a designated starter. It's going to be by committee. Same thing with our safety position. So we got a couple unknowns going on, but really looking forward to the season. Really think that we coming into the season healthy. We have two new coordinators on both sides of the ball, so really intrigued to see what kind of changes we made in comparison to last year. But we really feeling confident, and we think that we're gonna make a similar run to what we did last year.
All right. What's going on with the Panthers, sports guy?
Yeah, Carolina, what I expect this year to be, up and down season. You're gonna have some good play, you're gonna have some bad play, with the rookie quarterback. But what I'm disappointed in is not locking up Brian Burns. You can't do the things that you did in the off season with the coaching and all the coaches that you brought in to Carolina, number one pick. It was a lot of excitement. So this kind of brings the excitement down a little bit, not having your best player on the field. Carolina, hey, y'all got to pay people, because that's how you set up your organizational culture. If not, players coming up with contracts, they're not they're not going to want to play and stay there. So you got to lock up Brian Burns. What you do with him is going to set the tone for the rest of your players. Uh, but yeah, like I said, it's going to be up and down for Carolina. I'm looking forward to see how the offense plays against the Falcons on Sunday. In preseason, offense was pretty bad. So I'm gonna see what the improvements they're gonna make, and we kind of go from there. But what I look for week by week, every Sunday, Panthers improving.
Okay. What you got, Jay? I know with the Jets.
Man, the Jets, man, the most intriguing team in the league right now, solely because of the Aaron Rodgers acquisition. But I have high expectations. We got Aaron and Garrett Wilson. I think we showed that in preseason. We have a loaded backfield. We got Michael Carter. We got Izzy, the rookie, even though he's a little banged up, coming over, getting over a little injury. Signing Delvin Cook, that's a major move right there. That solidifies that backfield. I mean, receiver core, the defense speaks for themselves. So I'm looking for the Jets to at least put 10 wins in a win column, hopefully more. Hopefully we get to the top, at least competing for a playoff spot, making the playoffs. Ultimate goal, obviously, is Super Bowl. I mean, let's face it, it's Super Bowl or nothing for this team, just with the roster that we have, led by Aaron Rodgers. Can't say anymore.
All right, and finally, America's team, those Cowboys. What you got, Rope?
Well, as a Cowboy fan, you have to temper expectations every year because you don't know what's going to happen. But I'm really expecting them to be the same team that they've been the last 2 years. They've won 12 games the last 2 years, and I don't expect it to be anything different. In terms of the defense, nothing really to talk about. I think they're going to be a top 3 defense. They're loaded in all areas. I really love that we was able to bring my boy Stephon Gilmore over from the University of South Carolina. I was happy about that, to solidify the secondary. But what I'm going to be excited to watch against the Giants tomorrow, let's see what's going to happen with Mike McCarthy and his play calling. When he got hired, I was excited about it. I mean, Jay, I know talks about Aaron Rodgers. People talk down on Mike McCarthy, but hey, Aaron Rodgers won his only Super Bowl and 2 MVPs under Mike McCarthy. So we're going to see what's going to happen there. Looking forward to that with the acquisition of Brandon Cooks being there. He brings that speed threat that we need at wide receiver. And I'm excited about the rookie Deuce Vaughn. He was one of the only guys that I really looked at in preseason because none of the other starters didn't play. Dude is a Darren Sproles clone for the most part. Looking forward to seeing him and Pollard run that rock, especially when we play the Eagles, run down their throat. Most concerning thing right now is just the injuries. I mean, again, like I said, the starters didn't even play. You got Tyler Smith and again, Tyron Smith already hasn't played one game, just practicing. He's already hurt. So, it's about time to revolve that door on him, man, because he's just, he's always on the injury report. So that's about it with Dallas and Samson. Like you were talking about, y'all re-signed Bosa, the highest paid defensive player. That'll stand until Michael Parsons gets his extension next year.
Right. Every year the market gets reset. So
Exactly.
I got to ask you something, Rope. You know where this is going. Another acquisition that y'all got. So
I was gonna let you bring that up.
Yeah, I've never been a Cowboys fan, but I am partial Cowboys fan now. How do you feel about that acquisition of Trey Lance?
At first I said, what are we doing here? Because I felt like, it's gonna bring unwanted attention because that's what they're gonna be talking about. Dak throw one interception, people gonna be screaming for Trey Lance. But Trey Lance isn't ready. He's just not ready. I'm not. Once I thought about it, we gave up a 4th round pick for development for us, a developmental player. I'm excited about it. I think if he can get the right coaching, probably in about a year or 2, hopefully 2 years, he'll be ready to go. But maybe Dak needs that person.
Yeah.
He needs to look over his shoulder. I think sometimes he gets too comfortable and he plays too carefree with the ball. So if we have that player where he got to look over his shoulder, maybe he can he'll play a little bit better. So we'll see. Hopefully Dak, everything works out with him. I'm believing that it will. And K. Riles always talks about it. Maybe we can use him for a trade piece because that's what he always talked about his Eagles doing with their trash quarterbacks that they pretty much swindle teams with on trade. So.
We'll see how it develops. I thought he got the short end of the stick based on injuries, and just personally, I don't think that our head coach is a quarterback developer. I think he's in a better situation in Dallas, so I'm pulling for him, not Dallas.
Yeah, but me and you, we talked about that, and you said that you said basically, and here's what I was thinking: Kyle Shanahan, he's got that fire coming up under him now. It's almost like you got to win or you're going to be up out of here. And I'm assuming he just doesn't have the time now to kind of groom him. So how many games did he even start for the 49ers?
He started against Houston last year, year before last, and he started in Chicago. And then he broke his ankle second game playing Seattle. Yeah. That's it. I think he's played total of 4 games. Yeah, but we'll see how that goes. So, fellas, what's the game of the week? Couple intriguing games out there. I'm thinking that it's San Francisco and Pittsburgh. What you got, K. Riles?
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by San Fran and Pittsburgh. You got Brock Purdy coming in, as the starter. And like you mentioned before, they got rid of Trey. They went ahead and elevated Sam Darnold to the number 2 position. So it'd be very interesting to see if Purdy Mania was real or whether it was a fluke last year. Like the saying goes, now you got tape on him. You got people able to go ahead and study his game. And, he's also coming off of a major injury. So, very interested to see how he holds up. I think San Fran has one of the, if not one of the top talented rosters in the league, both on offense and defense. You also got a new defense coordinator in Steve Wilkes coming over to replace DeMeco Ryan. So is the defense going to be as aggressive or least aggressive this year? So it's very intriguing. And you look at the other side of the ball, Pittsburgh, you got Kenny Pickett, second year coming in, and he showed marked improvement as the season went on last year. Got a chance to witness them play against the Falcons a couple of weeks ago, and they started their starters and they came down and washed down the field both possessions, got touchdowns. George Pickens looks like the next great Pittsburgh receiver to come through. So see if he continues his progression. Then you got Najee Harris, who also helped establish a running game that Pittsburgh really struggled at last year. They did get some help at the offensive lines, and it's Mike Tomlin coach team, and they always come out prepared and playing hard. So it'll be really interesting to see how these two teams match up. Second game that I will mention, though, definitely is going to be the Jets and Bills. You got obviously Aaron Rodgers, first game as the Jets quarterback. See how the team continues to progress. They had one of the top defenses in the league last year. Now they got a bona fide quarterback come in, and they got a returning offensive player of the year, rookie offensive player of the year, in Wilson. So it'd be very interesting to see how Jets progress. And then you look at the Bills side. The Bills. You got Josh Allen. Then you also got Stephon Diggs, who was a little disgruntled with the team once the season ended last year. So, it'll be interesting to see how the Bills, who continue to be that team that's on the cusp every year, see if they're able to make that next progression and make it to the Super Bowl this year. So, very interested to see those two games.
So, question, Stephon Diggs, is that a diva or is that passion?
I think it's a combination of both. The thing is that, for one, you can be fired up for your team and try to get your team fired up. But when you start sucking on the bench and isolating yourself, it kind of looks more like a diva. So, hopefully him and Josh Allen could continue to be on the same page. Hopefully, they can go ahead and continue to. I know they had to overcome a lot of adversity last year, especially with DeMar Hamlin going down. But, you need your leaders to really step up to make that next step. And Stephon Diggs is definitely one of the leaders on that team. So it'll be very interesting to see if he buys in and motivates his team to make that next step, or if he shows more of a diva mentality and they have to make a decision on it.
Okay. What you got, sports guy?
Yeah, I got to go with the Jets and the Bills. You got the young chosen one, Josh Allen. Every year, it's Josh Allen, taking the Bills to the Super Bowl, or getting all the hype, and so forth. And then you got Aaron Rodgers, the wily old veteran. He got a lot riding, expectations coming into the Jets. Make no mistakes about it. It's about them winning the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. They got the defense that can get them there. So really, it's going to come down to Aaron Rodgers making those winning plays. So for me, that's the game of the week. Jets defense against the Bills offense, but also I'm the Bills running game. They Josh Allen has been hurt the last few years with injuries, running the ball and so forth. And, they don't put a lot of emphasis on the running game. It's Josh Allen, throwing deep down the field or whatever the case may be, trying to take advantage of his strong arm. So I think that's going to be a challenge, going up against Jets defense. Because they're stout. They got pass rushes, they got Sauce that can lock you down. So for me, yeah, that's the game of the week.
I think them hits gonna take a toll on Allen.
Yeah.
It's gonna start happening. What you got, Jay? I know.
Game of the week, Jets and Bills. But I think K. Rouse and Sports Guy Bobby pretty much summed up everything that you can really touch on about that game. But I'll add this element to it. I think, are we going to get lost in the moment? Us meaning the Jets. Okay, we have this hype. We've been on the HBO series. Are we going to get caught up in our own hype and start becoming more of a distraction in an Achilles heel to the success of this team, or are we going to use that to catapult us to actually being what people think we are going to be? The Bills, Josh Allen, he is what he is. He's going to give you what he's going to give you, which could be a plus and a detriment to the team because the risky throws, the risky runs that he does. You're the franchise quarterback. You're the franchise. You go down, that's it for that team. So I just think that I'm looking at it from the perspective of both of these teams have the hype. They have, top-notch QBs. They have players that can get the ball and make plays. The defense, especially for the Jets, as K. Rouse and sports guys have alluded to, that they're top-notch. It's a top 5 defense in the league. You expect nothing less than a great performance on their end. But my main concern is just not allowing the hype to get in the way. Play to what you can be or play to what you're supposed to be and do nothing more than that. When you start trying to do things because I'm Aaron Rodgers, because I'm Sauce, because I'm Garrett Wilson, you're playing out of your body now. No need to do that. Just allow your talents, your play sets, your skill set speak for itself. Just that's my main concern with the Jets right now. It's just not buying into the hype. You know what you are, be who you are, and allow that to be your way to success.
Hey, I'm gonna jump in real quick and just kind of chime in. I would say I think y'all good. I think Aaron Rodgers and Sauce and then the head coach Saleh gonna keep them boys grounded. He's the type of coach where guys gonna play hard, so he's not gonna let them come in and get too caught up in the hype or whatever the case may be. They're a physical team. They play hard. When you play like that on Sundays, you're gonna win games. So I think y'all be all right in with that part of the leadership that you do have on your team.
Right. Yeah, and sports guy, Bobby, I agree with that. But look what happened with last year with Aaron Rodgers in the receiving corps, right? They stopped dropping balls. What's going to happen, right? It all depends on Aaron's mood. So if things are going great, receivers are making catches, running backs making catches out of the backfield, everything is going right, cool. But what's going to happen the moment Garrett Wilson, which we don't expect him to drop a ball, but drops balls, the receiving corps, not performing to what they expected to do. What is Aaron Rodgers' mood going to dictate? So that's why I say I have a concern about things buying into the hype, the pressure of that hype. When things start going wrong, because there's no perfect game really in the league. Things are going to happen that you don't expect, but you understand that it can happen. So when those things start happening, what is Aaron Rodgers' mood? And you alluded to that. Aaron Rodgers is a major influence on that team, good or bad. So when things aren't going so well, what happens? And that's what I'm concerned about. And that's what I'm paying attention to.
I think you'll be all right. And I say this because coming into Green Bay, it was, man, you heard it from day one. Aaron Rodgers been traded. He wasn't happy. The culture just wasn't right. He didn't want to be there. I think he really wants to be in New York and going to put all that stuff behind him. But who could, do what he did last year. I'm not going to rule that out. But I think the culture and environment is a lot different from Green Bay.
Right. I totally get it, man. I think they're all vested into this season and hopefully this season and beyond. And I'm obviously rooting for that. But I'm keeping an eye on if things do, things happening, a turnover here, a turnover there, a missed catch here, a missed block there, a couple sacks here and there. And, that's what I'm paying attention to. I have to pay attention to the other side, the glossy waxed car. Yeah, everybody wants to see that on the road, but I'm paying attention to when you on the side of the road with a flat tire, what happens.
All right, what you got, Rope?
Yeah, for me, it's the Jets and the Bills, and hopefully I can stay up and watch that game. Most times I can't make it anymore. Not since school started back.
8:15.
Yeah, it's all about for me, man. Like almost like a changing of the guard in the AFC East, man. Because ever since Tom Brady left, it's been basically the Bills for the most part. But that AFC East is stacked. I mean, the Patriots, they're not terrible, but it's a 3-team race between the Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins for the most part. So that's what I'm looking at can the Jets come in there and let the Bills know that, hey, we about to take this division? You know, the Jets, they have probably the best running back tandem in the league if Breece Hall can be healthy, with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. And, you got Aaron Rodgers. He got his receivers, Wilson, Lazard, decent tight end in Conklin. But, we talk about the offensive side of the ball, but to me, the Jet strength is on the defense, man. Quentin Williams, that's my boy, man. He just got paid, and them boys going to be ready. And like you said, sports guy, it's going to be a lot of pressure on Josh Allen. He doesn't have a running game. He is the running game. And Samson, you said it, he going to keep taking them hits, man. They going to add up, man.
Right.
Your quarterback can't keep taking those hits. But, and in terms of the Jets, so hopefully, Sarver can keep them straight. You can speak on that, Samson. I think he was y'all former defensive coordinator.
Yeah, we've lost a defensive coordinator every year.
Yeah. So,
and I'm a little concerned with Wilks, and things are going to change. Sila and Ryans were very emotional guys. They were very energetic. They were on the field. Wilks is taking a different approach. He's going to be on the press box. He's a little bit more aggressive as far as the blitz. You live by it, you die by it. One of the big concerns is we lost some of our quality depth in the offseason. We are a team that does rotations very heavy, especially with our bookends. And, we signed, Hargrave, which is a key player. But like I said, you lost some quality depth. And our first string to our second string, there is a good bit of drop off in the actual ability. So that is a little bit of my concern. But the thing is, if our offense can sustain long drives, it keeps our defense off, keeps them fresh, don't have to rotate as much, we'll be in a good place. But if we have some stalls and our defense gets tired and we have to rotate, oh boy.
Yeah,
watch our quarterback, Brock Purdy. Oh, my bad, sports guy. I was just throwing this out.
You good?
I was watching the Nebraska and Colorado game today, and K. Riles, I think you said you was watching it. Brock Purdy's brother is actually a quarterback for Nebraska. I think he came in for like a play or two, but I just thought about that when you was talking about the offense.
And that was one of
the interception.
He threw an incomplete pass, I think.
And that was one of my concerns as well. Speaking of Brock Purdy, even though you stated Rope, he's a development piece, but what happens if something goes wrong with that ligament? You know who we're relying on. Tell him, sports guy.
Sam Darnold.
I see dead people.
Yes. It's a little bit different when you're playing in practice versus when you're playing and getting hit. Oh, Sam, what a great answer.
Hey, he coming to the game. You might as well just go ahead and start your draft board.
Hey, go ahead and sit Debo and everybody else in week 3 and get them prepared for the next year.
Right. You better start scouting players for next year because, the season's going to be done.
Well, fortunately, the whole draft and picks we've given up for Trey Lance is in the books now. So we officially have a first-round pick next year. And most likely it'll probably be pick number 32. That's what I'm expecting. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think a key to all our team's success this year is going to definitely be our quarterback's health. San Fran was the prime example of that. Yep. Then you go look at a team like Dallas, had Dak banged up a couple of years ago. Then, we got Jalen, who's a running quarterback, so he's not guaranteed to stay healthy the whole time. One thing I was going to mention about the Jets was I heard reports all offseason about and doing training camp about issues with the offensive line and having confidence in the offensive line. And one thing that I've seen, we look at Indianapolis last year, they got Matt Ryan and everyone thought he was coming to be the savior, but they couldn't protect him. So they can't protect Aaron Rodgers, and that could lead to a long season for the Jets. Then you look at Carolina, Bryce Young's going to be a development quarterback, but he's also, undersized and, going to have to deal with hits from the NFL, linemen and linebackers. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how he holds up as well. So I think that's going to be one of the most intriguing things of the year is how healthy does our particular teams that we support quarterbacks remain. So
Yeah.
see that.
Hey, sports guys, size wise, Bryce Young versus Kyler Murray, are they very similar?
I want to say Bryce is taller than Kyler Murray.
Okay.
Kyler Murray is like a thick quarterback.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, I know he's been in the weight room, but he was kind of looking like a high school kid in the NFL. So, hopefully, he puts some weight on, gets some strength, and better learn how to slide.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or run towards his teammates on the sideline, get out of bounds.
Because you already know coming in, if I was an NFL defensive coordinator and I'm playing Carolina, look, I don't even care if you sack Bryce Young. I just need you to hit him hard. Because,
Right.
fourth quarter, them hits can take a toll on somebody his size. So, hey, just keep hitting them, knocking them down. Hey, man, I don't care if you got to drive your weight a little bit, when you hit the ground. But, that would be my game plan.
Yeah. And I might take a 15-yard penalty once or twice.
Yeah.
Hey, you hear how Sam responded. He plays different when he plays to get hit. So, yep. All right, guys.
It's gonna be an interesting season.
Hey, real quick, I want to throw something out there. That Detroit Kansas City game.
Let's talk about that. Go ahead.
Andy Reid and that Kansas City offense look bad. And I want to say this. I'm looking forward to see how Washington offense look come Sunday. Because I don't think Eric Bieniemy, of course, he didn't get the credit that he deserved when he was at Kansas City. And I think they really missed him playing in Detroit.
So you think it might have been Eric behind this?
I think that's the reason why the offense looked bad, not having him. All of the credit went to Andy Reid. They never talked about Eric Bieniemy. It was it was Andy Reid, and was the reason why they were winning. It wasn't Eric Bieniemy. Kansas City looked bad. That offense looked bad, and I'm looking forward to see how Washington offense plays because Andy Reid was that offensive guru like that. I think, and I'm not going to take anything away from Detroit. I like the way they play. The hard defense. They run through a brick wall. For their coach Campbell. So he's coaching that team and developing the right way. But I am intrigued about Kansas City offense moving forward.
Yeah. It's more than just Kelsey missing from that offensive side. So they can't blame it on that.
Yeah, I'll hold back judgment on the Kansas City offense. I see Kelsey come back. Also, on the wide receivers, Kadarius Toney, man. Come on, you can't drops like that, deflecting the ball to get pick six. You got to play better than that. And honestly, I think Kansas City lucked up last year. Tyreek Hill being gone, but Kelsey had a monstrous season. They was able to get a lot of good runs from Pacheco. Then you look at the wide receivers. They did enough to get by, but that first game, they definitely got exposed. Shout out to Detroit's defense. I know that they revamped the secondary during the offseason. And, so I think Detroit's going to have a strong season. But, the jury's still out on Kansas City offense. We probably will see that Bieniemy had a lot more to do with it than what he got credit for. But I'm going to wait till at least, game 2 or game 3 when Kelsey's fully healthy and back before I cast judgment.
Yeah. And then I'm going
to add.
You make a good my fault, Jay. I know, but you make a good point, Rouse, with wait and see, because and Sam, you always say it. The offense always starts slow. That's just how it is. It's a difference. It's a difference playing in the game versus being in practice.
Right.
So they're gonna have to get their time together, and it's gonna be different lingo coming out of Bieniemy than Reid. Maybe, I don't know. It might be the same lingo, but I'm with you. Bieniemy didn't get much credit. The only time they mentioned his name when things weren't going right. I think I heard coming out of Washington, they was talking about some of the players were complaining about him coaching too hard or something in the preseason. I don't know. We'll see though. Go ahead, Jay.
They should let's hard on Thursday.
Let's flip it back to Kansas City. Yeah, they got issues, but how about the damn right tackles lining up in the backfield and starting a half second every time and no call.
Hey,
Is that how we're gonna do it?
hey, AJ, I know I can officially say that was the worst officiating game I've seen this year.
It was horrible.
I can easily say that because we only had one game.
It was horrible, man.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that, man.
Yeah.
Hey man, don't give Andy Reid no pass. I kind of feel like we're getting week three, third week or whatever, get Andy Reid a pass. That team been the same team, been together for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, they got the same offense. And ask me, how many times did they run the ball on Thursday night?
It's one game, man. It's one game, though.
But what I'm saying is, if you
One
got
out of 17.
if you got a seasoned coach, the expectation is for your team to come out and play better. It's not like Andy Reid, this is first year there. You know,
Yeah.
and if you relying on Kelsey as your offense and, you know, your offense just go away,
Yeah.
what is that saying about your coaching?
Well, I'll say
That's
this,
all I'm
sports guy.
saying.
I'll say this. I'm gonna put it all on Tony. If you're talking about, let's take away the pick six, right? They win the game. They only lost by 1 point. You can look bad and still win, and then you shore up your points. I get what you're saying, sports guy Bobby, but I think we're giving Detroit more credit than they deserve, man. If Tony doesn't drop that ball or deflect the ball for a pick six, is Detroit scoring another offensive touchdown to make up for that? So
They started driving the ball in the fourth quarter when they started running.
But what was
running on them.
What was the final score? 21-20. Take away the pick six and that extra point, they lose the game. So minus all of the inefficiencies, the drop passes, the whatever you want to call it about the offense, they still technically the offense won the game. The defense, I mean, it's just right there in front of you as far as stats. Like they won off of a defensive touchdown. Technically, I mean, I look at it in different ways, man. Like you can say what we expect from that Kansas City offense. They damn sure didn't show it, but still, technically, they was in a position to win the game. So, I mean, I'm not going to raise the alarm flag. I'm not giving anybody any passes. Only team I'm really concerned about is the Jets. But looking at that game one for Kansas City, I'm like, bro, y'all gonna have to show up this wide receiving core for sure, at the minimum. But forget that. They're getting away with lining up an extra person in the backfield and starting 5 seconds before the snap. So
I agree with you on that.
I will say one thing to sports guy though. One thing that I think Bieniemy was very instrumental on was the run game. As a lifelong Andy Reid fan, Andy Reid has always went more pass happy than he did the run, and we saw a lot of that on Thursday night. Then Bieniemy really did help influence that by him being a former top tier running back and being able to come in there with that perspective. So that's one thing I'm really interested to see throughout the season. If Kansas City going to try to have more of a balanced attack, or are they going to rely heavily on these wide receivers who, quite honestly, did not look like they were ready for prime time on Thursday night.
Yeah, but you know, Kansas City really ain't having no wide receiver except for Tyreek Hill. I mean, Andy Reid offense has kind of been this kind of gimmick type offense,
Yeah.
you know, and throwing short passes and not really relying on a true number one. I think Thursday night kind of caught up to them.
Yeah.
And I'll go out and say this: they'll lose in Jaguars week 2. So Kansas City will be 0-2.
Yeah. Back to what you were saying, sports guy, definitely a gimmick offense. But I think one thing that has always been in their favor, you have to play them 11 on 11 with having Pat. And I think that's what has helped them with that gimmick offense, because they are a yak machine. They literally are. I mean, when you look at the stats, Pat Mahomes didn't throw many passes past 25 yards the whole season. Now they had some long plays, but not many in the air compared to other quarterbacks, you know. So
yeah, they're missing and I hate to say it because I always thought he was overrated, especially after Antonio Brown left. Juju, because he was a big part of their offense last year, and now he's gone. And they could have used him last night. I mean, not last night, but Thursday night.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll be back on Tuesday to laugh or say, "Oh man, I didn't expect this to happen or that to happen." We'll have our recap from week 1 on Tuesday. In my opinion, you got Samson, K. Rouse, Sports Guy Bobby, J.I. Know, and Rope. We out, fellas.
Peace.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out.